Hello violin players, welcome to Pro-Am Strings. I'm Henriette and today we're learning the A major scale. In this lesson we'll be thinking about the finger pattern that you'll be using in the A major scale, and then we're going to practice it, and I'm hoping you've got your violin ready to play along. And by the end of this lesson you should be able to perform the A major scale as you would do in your grade exam. So you can learn it with me from scratch to a performance level. I'm hoping that we're going to achieve that today. Now let's compare this A major scale with the G major scale that we did in 2 lessons ago. And in the G major scale we said our finger pattern is wide, wide, close, close. Something is going to change in this scale from that point onwards, and we're going to play all our second fingers wide again in the A major scale. But not only that, we're also going to play our third fingers wide on the G string and on the D string, and our third fingers close together on the A string and on the E string. So in a sense, this is also a wide, wide, close, close finger pattern, but we're talking about the third fingers here, not about the second fingers as we were in G major, you see. So the notes on the G string are wide space and a wide space. On the D string you've got a wide space and a wide space between your fingers. On the A string it's a wide space and close together, and on the E string it's a wide space between fingers 1 and 2 and close together between fingers 2 and 3. So let's go really slowly and explore what this sounds like. We're playing every note twice, and because if you've done it correctly here, you should be able to match this third finger, which is called A, the third finger on the E string, match it with the open A string. And if you've managed that, it's time to go back down the scale again, but we're playing the top 2 notes again, the top third fingers again. Because likewise we can test the third fingers on the A string with the open D string. Good, play it again and then carry on. Well done. So you've noticed the third finger's on the E string we can test with an open A string, and the third finger on the A string we can test with the open D string. We cannot, however, test the third fingers on the D string with the open G string. Let's think for a moment, why not? Why can't you test the third fingers on the D string in this scale with the open G string? And that is because your third finger is now a G sharp. So we said wide third fingers on G and D, you see, which means that this note is now G sharp, and we can only test a G with the open G string, can't we? Not the G sharp or the C sharp here. So those fingers are wide, wide, close, close, and the close, close you can test with the open strings, but not the wide third fingers, you see. Now, to push that intonation a little bit further to a higher level still, we're going to play this scale like we played it, every note twice, but with accompaniment. So I want you to then listen to every single note. So sing it in your head and blend it in to sound correctly with the piano. Here we go.
1 and 2 and.
Well done, that's very nice playing. So you have heard me say this before, blend it in with the piano, try to assess what went wrong and try to improve it all the time. When you consistently keep doing that, you will consistently improve your intonation. And it is to do with a deeper sense of listening, and that is what I'm encouraging you to do here. So when you play any piece of music, but maybe particularly so on scales and arpeggios, you want to start anticipating what is coming next, and that is our next practice. We're going to play it in exactly the same way with the accompaniment. So I would like you to sing in your head and try to think of what the next note is going to be sounding like.
1 and 2 and.
Now we're going to make that transition as usual from playing every note twice to playing how it's printed in your scale book. And I'm hoping that by now you know this scale off by heart and you can play it reasonably well in tune. So now let's play it in the way it's printed in your music. So with the long tonic, and concentrate on the amount of bow that you use. So this time I want you to use the whole bow on every crotchet or quarter note, and half a bow on every quaver or eighth note. And that means when you do that, that your quavers, your eighth notes, alternately appear at the upper half of the bow or at the lower half of the bow. So here we go. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and wonderful, well done. Now to make this even more smooth and flowing, let's think about the string crossings as we come across them. So you want to make your string crossings as smooth, as inaudible as possible. I don't really want to hear when I'm playing on the D string or when I'm making the transition to the A string or from A going to E. So make it as unobtrusive as you possibly can. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and wow, I'm in awe of you, working on all these different technical aspects. Well done. I'm hoping that you're connecting every note really nicely with the note before and after, so that you don't have any gaps between notes, such as this. You see, so you want to make them all connected, all legato, smooth playing. And that's what we're working on our next playing. Let's see if one note just smooths into the next note. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and you see, and now you're on your way to a proper performance. And there's one more thing that we're going to add, and that is that sense of direction. So let's play all the way up to the top note as you start. So you play this massive crescendo to your top note, and then from the top, as you play down the scale, keep your playing really loud. And that adds to your enthusiasm in sound. How can I say that? It makes the sound much more positive if you give it that sense of direction. And when you play positively in your exam, you're going to score higher. There's no doubt about that. Okay, so here we go, our final playing. Make it your best one. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and Well done. You may see me play the odd bit of vibrato, and you shouldn't really be playing vibrato on the scales, and it is certainly not required in grade 2. So if you've not learned how to do it, just leave it out and you'll be fine. I was saying this was your final playing, but that's not quite right, isn't it? Because we haven't yet played the A major scale slurred. So let's do that next, shall we? Use a long bow for every single note and for every single slur. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and... This scale, there's something special that I should point out to you. In the slurred version, you've got a string crossing between the open E string and the 3rd finger. So just here when you come down, you see, and that is one of those string crossings that you really need to look after in this scale. Okay, one final time, and this is the final time of playing the A major scale before we start to revise the G major scale and arpeggio. So final time, slurring the A major scale. 3 and 4 and... Super learning, really well done. Now for completeness, we ought to just revise the G major scale and the G major arpeggio, and we're going to start on a G major scale slurred. So remember your finger pattern, it's different from how we just played. Right, close. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and... Well done, very good, very well remembered. If you didn't quite remember it today, it's not the end of the world. As I've said before, you might just revise the G major scale video before you move on, but you know, maybe today was just an off day, and it really doesn't matter. Please don't despair when that happens. It happens to me as well, when I learn something one day and I've forgotten it the next day. That's totally okay. Next, let's play the G major arpeggio. 1, 2, 3. And if you've come all this way throughout this whole video, you've stuck with me, I am in awe of you. You've made outstanding progress, really good. Thank you very much for sticking with me. I very much look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.